the holding sector empties over.
Admiral, we have enemy ships in Sector 47.
It's a trap.
You've seen the title of this video. You know, you who are watching right now, you've seen the title of this video. You understand the title of this video. So I don't have to say what's in the title of this video. But this is a message. This is a message. Specifically, I want to put this message out here for my men in their teens and 20s. Men in their teens and 20s. Y'all don't watch this stuff, y'all. Just don't do it, man. Don't watch this stuff, y'all. Don't do it. Now, I wish that I could be more forthright, and I wish that I could really lay this out to you in a way that would be convincing, because I understand how the mind works, and I know that certain things aren't as convincing. It just kind of goes in through one ear and out the other. I wish I could be like Admiral Akbar. Real Star Wars OGs, you know. Star Wars fans, my Star Wars OGs know about Admiral Akbar. Admiral Akbar would say, "It's a trap." I wish I could lay it out like that for you. But since I'm just me, I'm just gonna be me and let you know. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And you're gonna thank me later, okay? Trust me. If I had known the level of pain, the level of dysfunction, the level of distortion, the level of self-deception, the level of distraction, the level that I would be facing, I would have never started this. You know, I would have never started watching this content that I'm telling you about right now. But it was on my heart to make this video for you because this stuff is progressive. You don't realize where it's leading you. You know, there's a saying, it's a wise saying, that if you don't know where you're going, you may end up where you're headed. Oh man, I gotta say that one more time, just so you get it. And I'm gonna say it one more time, and you might even rewind. If you don't know where you're going, you may end up where you're headed. Okay? Let me explain. So back in my teens, maybe I was, 15, 16, I seen a photograph, naked woman. Never seen a naked lady before like that. Not in that light, right? And it struck me so much that I printed it out. I was like fascinated by this picture. It just captivated me. It did something to my mind. It did something to my body. When I saw this lady, it did something to me, and I didn't understand what it was doing to me. I had never felt like that in my body before, and felt those emotions, right? That attraction, that level of mystery and lust, and it was very unfamiliar to me. It was uncharted territory. I brought this picture back to my church because I was going to church at the time, and I brought it to one of my friends. I said, "Look at this, man. Like, what do you make of this?" I don't know what I expected him to say. He was like, "Jerome, like, what are you showing me? What is this? Why are you showing me this?" Right? And so I was almost kind of ashamed because my friend was looking at the same picture and he didn't have the same reaction, or so I thought, right? That one picture led me to watching this content for over a decade. For over a decade. You know, it's interesting because there was a lady that jumped into my car the other day. I had a passenger, because sometimes I drive for Lyft. And it reminds me of this lady that I was driving to a methadone clinic. And she told me that all it took was one line. She did one line of coke or some substance back in the day. And from one line, she was hooked for 30 years. 3 decades. One line. That's what that reminded me of, because there was actually a seminar that I watched back when I was in my teens. And there was this guy, and he was talking about how this content is more addictive than heroin. Now, me being a teen, you know, me not really taking it serious, not really taking my life serious, not really taking the vital fluid serious, the vital force, the fluid that brought me into being, that brought me into creation, right? Not respecting that vibration, not respecting the secretions, not connecting the depletion of the secretion, right? And just really shrugging it off. His words kind of went through one ear and out the other. You know, oh, that's him. You know, that's his life. His life got messed up. My life won't be like that. He got hooked on it, but I won't get hooked on it. He got turned out. I won't get turned out, right? He wrecked his life up. I won't do that to mine. Give it time. Just give it time. Because what started to happen to my mind, y'all, it gets me emotional talking about this. You don't realize where you're going. So you just end up where you're headed. Y'all, one picture when I was 15, 16, whatever, that picture turned into images online. Those images online eventually turned into videos. Those videos eventually turned into streaming services. Those streaming services took me down rabbit holes and dark alleys and dark avenues of the inner web, to where I was doing things behind closed doors, so guilty, so shameful, right? And putting myself down in the blame and the shame game. I was in such a downward spiral, I didn't know how to find my way out. I didn't see a life that I live today. I didn't see it. I couldn't even imagine not waking up to it, not going to sleep to it, not doing it in the middle of the day. I got to the point where I was watching this stuff more than 3 times a day. There was one of my hardest jobs that I hated. I hated this job, where I was an overnight stalker for a grocery store. Here in Texas, they have grocery stores called H-E-B. And I was an overnight stalker for H-E-B. Just stocking shelves from 10 to 10, right? From 10 at night till 10 in the morning. Graveyard shift, right? Vampire shift. Do you know that I still did it on my shift? I still watched it on my shift. Do you know how wired you start to become? You know, they talk about neuroplasticity, right? The neurons that fire together Well, they wire together. And the funny thing about the mind is that given the right amount of time, what you do becomes who you are. It becomes wrapped in your identity. It becomes wrapped in your neural network. You start to form synapses and connections, and the neurons that continue to fire together, continue to wire together, and it makes it that much harder to stop. Till you find yourself, like I found myself, on the job, dead tired, drinking Red Bulls and Monsters to keep myself awake, right? To keep myself standing and on my feet and not falling asleep while I'm standing. And here I go, when I get a break, when I get a moment, off into the restroom, into the bathroom stall, to give in to this habit, to watch a fantasy and put my mind into the screen and inject myself into a scene. Do you know what I mean? I think you know what I mean. If you're still watching this, I'm pretty sure you realize what I mean. I'm injecting my mind into a scene, a fantasy, where it's me and an individual, right? But it's not even me. I'm watching someone else. I'm watching two other people doing something that I have no business in. I'm not even there. They don't know who I am. I don't know who they are, but I'm watching them. And to me, in that moment, it's completely normal. Now, as I describe this, of course, it doesn't sound normal. But the longer you get on this path, you start doing things that are not normal. Guys, this is not normal. Don't let people twist you. You know, I know a lot of people joke about this. You know, I've heard comedians get on stage and joke about this and really, you know, have a laugh about this. This is not a laughing matter. This is your life force. This is your vital fluid, your energy. The fact that today I've never had more purpose, more drive, more focus, more clarity, less brain fog, more passion, and more energy and enthusiasm for giving you this content, for doing this, for being in service, right? For being on purpose, for feeling I'm worth it. That would have never happened had I kept doing what I was doing, had I kept watching what I was watching. You know how many nights I sapped myself of energy? You know how many days I sapped myself of energy? Before I went to work, after I came home from work, during work, on the job, I did this. Now here's the even darker part. Not only do you become this person because what you do, your habits determine, you know, your character eventually, which determines your destiny if it is not taken off of the rails, if it is not derailed somehow, right? If it is not distracted, you gain more traction, right? The darker part of this is what some people don't tell you. And I don't hear a lot of people talking about this when they talk about, you know, semen retention and they talk about not watching this content, is you start to go down rabbit holes. What do I mean by rabbit holes? You start to go down into areas, given time, that you were never inclined to go. And I'm letting you know, if it is not stopped, it will continue to drop. you will find yourself one day watching something happen on a screen that somewhere internally, it will disturb you to your core. You might even ask yourself, wow, what am I watching? You know, at one point, there are suggested videos. You know those suggested videos on the side? YouTube has them, you know, every now and then, suggested videos, right? And YouTube will suggest you a video. Like, hey, you clicked on this, so maybe you'll click on this, right? The algorithm likes to do that, right? Hey, you clicked on this video, so maybe you'll like this video. Hey, I saw that you were watching this. Maybe you'll like to watch this. And one day, you might be in such a state, right, that you might indulge yourself just to see. And you might click on one of these videos, and my goodness, at first it'll be a shock to your mind because you've never seen anything like that before, right? At first it'll hit you like, what? Like you'll click out, you'll back out, right? You'll try to get rid of all the pop-ups and all the viruses and all the, you know, the ads and stuff, right? You'll be like, no. Whatever that was, whatever I saw just happening on screen, that's not me. What I'm telling you is what you saw that scared you. It's good that it scared you, but if you continue, that image, that video, whatever you saw, that will become your new normal. You hear what I'm saying? Now you say to yourself, no, that's not me. That will never be me. I will never be like one of those people. Give it time. Give it time. I started to go down dark corners of the web that I never thought I would go down. I said, that's not who I am. This is not me. I'm not that kind of person. And I witnessed myself watching. Yes, I witnessed myself watching something that was disturbing, visually disturbing, emotionally disturbing, mentally disturbing. And I watched it. And what used to repulse me, slowly but surely, I started to gain pleasure from something that was repulsive. This is what I mean when I say that this stuff, this content is progressive. You don't know where you're going, so you're going to end up where you're headed. And as we know, what goes into the interworld is eventually going to come out in some way into the outer world, right? So I'm not even touching right now. This is just the first video that I'm making in years on this. You know, I made another one where I talked about this. I got really emotional. I might drop it in the description, add a link for it. But, you know, I was married. Shoot. No longer married, right? Because I was dipping off and doing this on the low, you know, getting that quick hit, that quick pleasure, quick dopamine, whatever you want to call it. And there was no reward. There was no payoff for that pleasure. In the end, there was only pain. Pain is what remained. And pain is what maintained. So shame is what maintained. Till I finally was able to see myself in another light. That I was finally strong enough to put up a fight and get out of that cycle. So it's not impossible. But the longer you do this, the harder it becomes. And I'm letting you know because I too was one. So I'm gonna cut this video right here. You know, I might make another video on this. We'll see. But something was on my heart today to just say, you know what, Jerome, even if there's just one kid, one guy in his teens or in his 20s, you know, because this took me all the way from like 15, 16, all the way till my late 20s, you know? And I never thought I'd be free of this. I never thought that I would go a day without indulging myself in that way. I never thought that I'd get to the point where no, it is not okay, you know? So I just want to let you know that if you're in this cycle right now, it's not too late. You know there's something within you that is great. And if you have that grace within you, continue to believe that you do. Sometimes we just don't know where our habits are leading. So don't let that short-term feeling that's fleeting be defeating in your life and be depleting in your life. Find something that is actually feeding your life so you can be nourishing and flourishing. Much love, and we'll see you again. Take care.